Mr. Nixon, when you're speaking, when you were speaking, you mentioned unique selling propositions, and as a unique selling proposition, yeah, okay, and you mentioned that you should get one as a university student reading a course with a certain qualification with thousands of students. And these qualifications that we want to get, we are coming out to the market to compete. How or what are the practical sets of things I should do or a youth should do to get those selling points? Secondly, when you were speaking about being noticed, it was of interest to me because why? Sometimes people want to be noticed for various reasons, not on social media, but they want to be seen that I'm here because I am here. But you made a key point that you were even teaching and impacting the lives of others with the IT skills you acquired. Were there no comments to pull you down? How did you handle that? And the third question, too, is about when you spoke about being mentored. Now, young people are looking at people who are celebrities in quotes, and they want them to mentor them, but they don't get access to them. Is it compulsory to always have somebody one-on-one as a celebrity tag to mentor you? Thank you.
I'll tell you, I know that is his question, but I'll tell you an experience I had. When I worked as the Deputy Special Representative of the Secretary General of the UN in Liberia, I learned something from the young people of post-war Liberia, which has changed my approach to things. There were no jobs, fresh from war. Everything had collapsed. No money in town. You know, war makes everybody poor. So the people who are always fighting, asking, we will have a Liberia here. You have no idea what war is. Everybody is poor. So there's no job. But I learned from these young people, they volunteered for things. Because there's no money in town, but there are things that must be done. They will volunteer. It amazed me because coming from Ghana, where people will write 3,000 application letters, it surprised me that people who were so poor were willing to volunteer to do things. Guess what? After a while, they had the skills they had picked up as volunteers on their CV. Guess who will be hired if a position opens up? In this country, we don't volunteer enough. You belong to a church. There's a children's service. There's youth service. There's adult service. There are all kinds of things that get done in this church. Which of them have you volunteered for? Even when you join a society, it is for the cloth because you like the look. You like the look of the cloth. I had to go to America to learn that in school, when you are joining clubs, we look at the uniform or the time they meet or the outings that they have. Then we say, oh, I will join this club. They don't do that. They join Red Cross because they want it on their CV one day to apply to medical school. You will go to Red Cross and say, I like the white dress. So you just go and not get anything out of it. So please, as a young person, even if you are unemployed, what can you do that somebody would appreciate? There are so many jobs that you can do for no pay. If you do them well enough, whoever is in charge will say, oh, you don't work. Here, have 100 cedis. It won't be much, but on your CV, it will be worth the weight in gold. No knowledge is wasted. Only last week, I was telling people at a function I attended at Lagos. I will weave it in with people bringing you down. I was the first female senior tutor of Akwafo Hall when it became a mixed hall. I didn't have it easy. One day I went to a place to go and do some research work that I was involved in. And an elderly gentleman, after we had the meeting, said, Eraba mate wonka. I was bowled over. Guess who he was? Professor Kwapong, the first African Vice Chancellor of University of Ghana. And I said, Prof, what happened? I said, now who will give you more trouble than your peers? Who? He's an Akwapem gentleman, so he speaks very. Yeah. I was so encouraged by those words that gentleman uttered to me. So I uttered those words back to you. Who but your peers will give you trouble? Some people see the work you are doing as a judgment on them. That some people will say that as for them, they haven't done well. So for that supposition that some people will say that about themselves, they will bring you down. So in developing those skill sets, I've talked of volunteerism. And I'm also talking of being focused. Everybody has problems. Everybody. Believe me, at every level you have problems. People trying to bring you down. Many years ago at a board meeting when some man was doing things he wasn't supposed to do, and I took him on. I have great respect for your husband. I said, my husband hasn't come here. I haven't brought your wife here. I was very annoyed because that is the way to try and defeat you psychologically. And I said, my husband hasn't come here. I haven't brought your wife here. So, well, you have great respect for my husband, so what? So I should let you do what you are doing. When you know what you are doing is wrong. You know, they will say all kinds of things about you, call you Margaret Thatcher. She was a wonderful lady. So don't worry about those things. And don't think it will be handed on a platter to you. No. But volunteering to do things will help you build skill sets at no expense. When you make the mistake, you will be forgiven, won't you? But you would have learned. So don't sit at home and write 3,000 application letters. There's no job anywhere. But if you volunteer, and as he's saying, somebody wanted a research assistant, he was ready to recommend somebody who volunteers around here in this church. The harvest is plentiful, but the laborers are few.
Your Ladyship, I'm glad that academia is here, all of us are here. American youth volunteer because they get the credit hours when they go to school. Can we find a way, when people are applying to the universities, check their backgrounds and find a way, somehow, I don't know. I am not, sort of proposing that we give them credit hours, but it could be anything which will encourage a lot of them, to do things, to be of community service. But as it is, I'm afraid to say, thank you.
Thank you, very Reverend Helena.
Okay, so when it comes to credit hours, the challenge we have in Ghana is that we put institutions to regulate things that they don't even understand. You know that if you want to have a program, somebody will come and tell you, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do this. So it makes it very, very difficult for us to be. I will give you an example. In US, and I always say the most difficult exam I have ever participated is open book exam. That's the most difficult exam. Public economics. 8 o'clock, we go to the professor, he gives you the questions, bring it at 5 p.m., you can bury yourself in the library, he doesn't care. But that's the most difficult question. But when I was in Legon, it's about examination. It's about examination. So your suggestion is good, but we work within an environment which is very difficult. Sometimes,
I did open book. I can tell you the story.
then you have to give me the trick. Because sometimes they will bring somebody who is not even qualified to look at the programs that he has to accredit, but they have brought him to do that. But I think just adding something to the volunteerism, I agree with your point. But I think I have used myself as example. When I was a steward, I kept telling the young people that we have a lot of big men in the church, but you don't know them. This time, we are here. We have Nixon. When I was a steward, I don't think many people knew Nixon. But he was a big man. And I said, work hard. These big people are in the church. They see what you are doing. And I can tell you, it can land you on a job that you never dreamt of. And I don't want to be controversial, but if you volunteer and you put it on your CV, it helps because he can answer it more than I. But if you complete university and then you are unemployed for 2-3 years, you become rusty. So any employer will tell you, what have you been doing over the last 3 years? So your chances of being employed become very, and I've done work in that. Those who stay for long without doing anything, they have a difficulty in getting employed. So apart from the fact that you will be able to, somebody will be able to support you and help you, it also helps you in getting access to employment.
Thank you very much, Prof. I think we have run out of time, but I will take one last question from Sister Equia.
There was also a question on being noticed. I think
Yes.
Her Ladyship has spoken about it. The thing is, anytime recruitment is being done, a certain number of people, a large number, moving to the next level. So it's like a funnel. You all enter the funnel, but it's just a few people who drop from the funnel. It is how you have built yourself, how you get noticed. And Nixon had mentioned that sometimes you are in a meeting, something comes up, and we are looking for somebody to execute. A name is mentioned. Oh, yes. Another name is mentioned. Who is he? You haven't been noticed. It's not being noticed because you are all over the place, but you have developed a unique selling point even during the period you are with the entity. So it is value creation. What value are you creating in your role, in your department, in your function that enables you to stand out so that when something comes up, your name comes up? That is being noticed. Now, the mentorship, where do you want to be? When it comes to career, it's better, I always say that if you find yourself in an institution, an employment, you can build a career within that. If you are an insurance company or within the insurance industry, there's one critical professional qualification, which we call the CI, Chartered Insurance Qualification. If you do masters, somebody will come and somebody you that finished school, first degree with, will charter, and the person will move faster than you doing masters. So you first identify which professional qualification or which educational path is critical in that role, where you find that entity. So you can secure a good position for yourself, then you add the others as top up to enable you, move further. But first of all, move to the next available space, given the requirements within the industry. Then you can move on. On mentorship, what do you want to do? It is what you want to improve upon, develop, that will determine who you look up to as your mentor. And sometimes you may not speak to the person as a mentor, but you read about the achievements of the person and you pick certain things from that guides you. And so unknown to the person, you've picked the person as your mentor, but you are following his or her developments and picking certain key traits which you are following to help you develop. So it's what is it that you want to build on? And who do you see those traits in? And it is that person you then go pick up as your mentor.
Thank you. Thank you, Mrs. Bumpo.